That's right. Fire and brimstone, all of that out the window now because Inferno is done. It's over with. We are out of Inferno in a very close 30-round affair. Now we have to begin to make some sense of why it did have to go the entire distance. And of course, to do that will be the analysis crew and myself here at the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice Minor for the Americas region. You know, we've already seen quite a few minors popping off around here, but yeah, this one is about the end of the road. But the road has just started for some of these teams. Furia being one of those teams that's kind of coming out of left field at this moment. Yeah. Taking on an EnVyUs squad that really, I can't say that we had the highest expectations for, but they did look decent in their first match.
Yeah, I think a good way to set the tone for this segment and talking about Furia is the fact that we looked at them in the first game and they looked a little hesitant and they were kind of maybe shell-shocked a little bit for the fact that they were so close to winning at that point in time, and they, you know, their pacing was not really good. Just sheer, I think it's just for the fact that they're just not used to this type of situations, but it has definitely seemed like they're warming up to the occasion.
Well, they had to come from behind in both halves there, right? They had really slow starts. Now, I'm pleasantly surprised at the Counter-Strike we just saw on display from both teams. With EnVyUs, we didn't know what to expect because there's no sample size. They only had played one map earlier today with the 16-3 victory. And Furia, we're obviously learning about them as we go. They've played quite a lot of games online, but coming and playing in an event like this is where the nerves and the land factor kind of
totally different.
Yeah. So I'm impressed with the brand of Counter-Strike that both teams have put on display. And I'm very impressed with Furia and their T side and how poised they look in mid-rounds. A very good word that Launders used there was stressed. They made EnVyUs feel stressed. And that's true because they were doing so much damage early round. And then in the mid-rounds, they couldn't move anywhere. They couldn't pick or over-peak without being taken down.
Right. And it did seem like that stress was brought about by the high-intensity play, like the fast play. And also some of the stuff they were able to do on the fly. I mean, obviously, this is a Furia that's coming here. They've had to have something in their back pocket to show off, and they have had just that. I believe we can even begin to discuss what was a very well and eloquent pistol round.
Yeah, I actually have a clip here of the pistol round. Now, look, they didn't win it, but there's multiple steps to this here. So they're actually going to do the wall smokes on the B bomb site after they get banana control. They lose a man in the flurry, and that's not too bad because he doesn't have the utility. You can see how much they've invested in here. Now, once they finally garner full banana control and push the players back onto the bomb site, they're going to do the wall smokes over the B site, which is going to block off oranges and coffins, and there's going to be a deeper than normal CT smoke. You can see the HEs there. They're actually going to land in front of this smoke in case of any CT player playing or wanting to find those picks. So here you're going to see the nades come in. Boom, boom. If any players there are on the boost, he's going to be taking residual damage to that. And now this is the next step of this. A flash is going to come over. This guy's going to jump over first oranges. A player's going to push coffins on the teammate's flash. And Vinny is going to find 2 big kills. Now, the issue here is the way that they played the post plan. They actually planted at first oranges, and they didn't really, use the bomb site all the time they had to set up correctly. And EnVyUs were able to retake. But we saw themes of that and well thought out different styles of approaches from Art, and the in-game leader, and Furia on their T-half, and it was phenomenal play.
Yeah, I mean, I like that strategy for weapon run for sure. I think that's where that would be really applicable, but the problem with the pistol round is that if you don't have, 3 players with an armor, then it kind of makes it really hard to take your gunfights, right? So that's one of the reasons you don't really see a lot of teams go beyond having more than 2 people with grenades.
Well, a Fire and a Fury is exactly what they're coming in here with, and it's not delusion. It's nothing that's deceiving your eyes. In fact, we're now going to be switching over to the next map of the series, Mirage. Now, so if you're EnVyUs, you just come off the back of a 16-14, right? You've got a server with guys shooting bodies, chaos, cats and dogs living together, pandemonium in the streets. Now we go to Mirage. Is it going to be the same storyline here?
I think it's troublesome, right? Yeah. Because the fact of the matter is this is EnVyUs' choice where Furia gets to start on the CT side, and we saw the shutout that they were able to do to E United earlier. Now, sure, E United were quite tentative in their approach. They were defaulting, and they were getting dictated to. I don't think the same thing's going to happen with Carrigan and the boys in blue. However, we've seen the way that they like to approach this game, and they're very dynamic. The players are getting multi-kills in the positions they're having. So I don't know if Carrigan's going to have enough time to identify the way that they have these setups. They had Quesarado over towards B soloing while they did a lot of mid control. They had heavy presence towards apps and A ramps on certain rounds. So it's difficult to predict.
Yeah, I mean, if they've had I'm not sure what's the coaching situation for this lineup, honestly, but if they've had any time to really even quickly go through what happened in that previous game with United and Furia, we saw a lot of mid contesting from the CT side of Furia. Like, they were mega aggressive almost. So yes, you can definitely play on that. Like, you throw the smokes on the upper toward middle to catwalk and stuff like that. Then you maybe try to ram out of palace, for example, for like these fast kind of plays, and then you go switch it up and go back to those slower default type of plays afterwards. So yes, there's a lot of ways you can play around it, but like you were saying, it's a different story. Have EnVy really had any time to like digest that information?
Yeah, digesting it as they will. Guys, does the series end here? One map could be the end of this series, the end of the first best of 3 for us covering the America's Minor.
I feel like it has to be another close one. If EnVyUs are going to pick this, then they have to have stuff prepared in the way that they want to approach the game. But Furia have impressed me, and I think this can be a 2-0 for the Brazilians.
Yeah, I mean, EnVy has to be definitely be on their feet and make sure that they're not getting caught off guard the way that E United was. But I think the thing is that the way that E United played those mid-round situations was a massive factor to the fact that Furia had that great CT half. So I do expect more from EnVy. I think it's going to be a close one, and I feel like we're going to a third.
Well, in a map filled with CTs and Ts, we do have ourselves a little bit of a Mirage as we do switch gears now over to the commentators, trying to get this one underway. It's going to be Scrawny and Launders to take us right into the game. Boys, let's get it done.
Let's get it done and let's get it started. What could very well be a 2-0 start. We know Furia are competent here on Mirage. They proved that versus E United. But just like the gentleman on the desk did say, this is EnVy's map choice. We saw them wreck Team 1 over on Dust 2. Dust was the immediate ban out from Furia coming into this series, so this lets us know if it's not the first, it's their second choice. I'm excited to see what they have in store for us. We've got talent from head to toe, as it seems we shall start with, of course, Furia on the CT side.
Was difficult to figure out who was the better team for a lot of the game at the end of Furia versus E United, but they pulled it together in the last moments and made it look a lot more convincing. Here, EnVy, not a lot is known about their map pool. We know that the map they wanted to play Dust 2 was out, and they get to play Mirage, but that being their second choice still has me wondering, you know, how good is this for them? I assume it might look a little bit better than E United's. We'll soon find out. Here is the push into CT spawn.
A little shadow bait, but there are 2 Ts ready to go. Drone and JDM knock down a couple bodies. There's a pistol for EnVy with conviction. Immediately keeping 4 of those players up. Cookie cutter clean there, Launders.
It was very, very clean, and it's simple, and we've seen that duel go down so many times. It's just the average fight on Mirage on CT pistols to try to regain CT control, and sometimes it goes the T way, sometimes it goes the CT way, sometimes there's a flash deep to help the T's push, sometimes it's just a dry bout and the T's will still come out ahead like we just saw. It's kind of hard to predict in those moments who feels more confident or who is actually set to take it, but you saw Furia gave it their best shot with 3 players, just like they are here, going full frontal at mid, and at least taking down Kerrigan, but not much more than that. Drone is a bit hurt, but can kind of hide, and Cutler makes sure that he won't have to take another duel in the round. EnVy take a second round. Furia haven't gotten anything but 2 kills just yet, and now we'll buy up. Art is going to pick up an op. The buy is going to be somewhat mixed, it seems, as there's an MP9 on Queserado, but they're favoring utility. And again, when they played Mirage last time, it was kind of good, kind of bad in places. I'm not exactly sure, but certainly they've gotten like some land jitters off from that last match.
Yeah. I'd say if there was anything impressive, it was their CT side, so I'm at least excited to see them start here. But the second half was near a comeback. We shall see if the same unfolds. Yuri dancing around the staircase, up and down, left to right, even a diagonal. But there's a curveball, nifty headshotting Art. He tried to come out from CT spawn and he lost his head for it. Cutler looking for a chance to activate. This pushes a lot of pressure on Nifty, and it's not as though he's in the depths of the ramp where he can actually pull all their attention. He's going to be on full display for the gunfight. Cutler jumps the trigger, does still get a headshot. It's all right, gets a second. Now he's really got Queserado pincered here. Queserado's going to jump on bomb and dies to the spam through the box.
Through the box.
Hello, Cutler.
Going above and beyond. And I was just about to say that he was not in a proper position to play that after plant with all of his teammates dead, but instead that he had to push up to connector, get close so that he could get a kill, but not only that, be a threat once the bomb gets defused because it's not actually planted for him, but then there he goes and gets the spam through it. So that's fantastic by Cutler. Great round on his part, and Furia made that look like that was going to be their round for sure up until he pulled off the 3 kills that he did. Now it's going to be another eco round where Yuri has upgraded into his Deagle along with 3 more of his teammates. It takes a lot of damage in response. Quesarado comes out with a clean shot in the B apartments, and EnVy are now scrambling a little bit. I don't know if they were going to execute off of that and now don't want to, or if they're going to completely change the game plan. Whoa, did he just toss an AK over the wall when JDM has a MAC-10?
Did you just do him like
Is
that?
that a party foul? It was whoa, man. Maybe it's because they don't want to give that up if they're going to use him to scout, but I feel like you probably just want to have that.
It's JDM. It's not like he can rifle.
Okay, well,
Just kidding. Throwing a little.
you know what? It's we haven't seen him play for so long, right?
Yeah,
And
if anything, that'd be
the
a
one
skill
thing
he
that is
developed.
going to be the most important is that he's back and opping really well, and he has looked crystal clean.
Man, you remember that when he's coming from mid onto the A bomb site and he flips up to the guy on the top of the balcony? I have it vividly in my mind, Launders. Just rounds ago.
And it seems like they are going to use him to try to scout out their B apps. Any prime position to get some damage in. Nifty will take both pot shots to the chest.
Or Deagle's downrange, but those ones don't hit the mark. Had they, I mean, both Nifty and Cutler are on the brink of death, but they've slowly earthed their way into the A-bomb site. Yuri tries to play around with the smoke, and he loses his face for it. Another couple kills to trickle in, and we have Furia with only 2 kills in the round. Could have been much more. They've given up the bomb plant. They're not even going to escape with their lives. See you later, Quesarado. That's Team EnVy 4-0.
A nice rotation, nice adjustment to take connector and come back from that. And you know, it does get a bit tricky, a little bit sticky when you lose a player on the anti-eco, especially when it's the first kill that comes out. But the trades look nice, the awareness was there, and everything else fell into place. And JDM got a kill with his MAC-10 as well for the extra cash to put the cherry on top. Round 5 ensues. We've got a rifle round from both teams. Kerrigan down to half HP. And the CTs now take initiative to go out mid. Yuri, however, will shut it down quickly.
Yep, gets a good angle over top of the smoke. That's the bomb on the back of Cutler. Looks like he's trying to reconvene. You know, loses his teammate over the shoulder. Ooh. Be careful.
Oh, a couple of risks taken there, but he does just fine. Landing back on his feet and could potentially get peak, not expectant of the 2 players in connector.
Yep, no sir. And Kerrigan, well, he's just caught with a grenade in his hand. That's an easy lineup for Quesarado. This is a position we saw him use versus E United. He just kind of tucks himself behind the bench, either getting kills on the balcony or waiting for them to, what? Try their best to pop out. Nifty, hell of a headshot there versus Yuri. But it's a one and done, Mohan. He gets nothing further. And that's Furia on the board.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, majority alive, so they'll have the rebuys will be okay. They'll still have a little bit of money left over, but they're back in the game. And EnVy have enough money after all of those pretty successful rounds to buy up again as well. Pretty good stuff. Yeah, Kerrigan kind of just runs headfirst into the AUG. And Quesarado, it's in his favorite spot of the map. He likes that bench. He's good at the bench. And I expect to see him play the bench again. It's safe from Cat, and it's useful as a headshot angle versus apartments. A lot of good reasons to be out there. And Yuri playing with fire, standing out in the middle of mid. Low ground disadvantage, no cover, but he's got teammates on the periphery.
Smoke gap there versus drone. He's got to be cautious as he dances around the boxes. Has a couple of teammates, and he's just going to put out that fire. Wants nothing to do with the early chip damage. Op shot through the ledge. Fare thee well, JDM. He's gone. Now that bomb's going to double back through spawn, trying to join Nifty in Palace. Cutler, Lake Lurk mid. We've seen him win a round with this. So there is this possibility whereby EnVy get entries on their A-site push, and Cutler comes into the equation late, but he's anticipated by Yuri. Big plays this round from Yuri. Only that 1 kill, but lots of information, lots of posturing. You know, he tried to find drone before anybody else did, and this near a clean sweep. Nifty responding with only 1. He's lost his bomb. He's done for. Furia will convert to a second round, most certainly. But just like in the previous round at that B site, Nifty gets a nice little headshot as a parting gift. You know, keeps the morale high.
Yeah,
And,
you can tally up the exit frags over the course of a few rounds, and if that equates to 3 or 4, then it could be a situation to reset in the future. So it's something at the very least. But the mid control kind of falls flat, and that's the most worrying part. That even though Furia only have that first round and now the second one, that the default, it's looking so easy to pick apart for them. There's a lot of dry peaks. There's a lot of uncleared angles. There's a lot of kind of not missed shots, but mostly just easy lineups.
Team EnVy is just splattered.
That's a quick eco. That's the perfect eco ace for a frag highlight. Definitely want to throw that in there. At Launders, if you're going to use the casting voice for it, you can go ahead and follow me on Twitter. that was pretty nice. You know it's a good ace when you get all 5 kills in the kill feed.
Yeah.
Right, and they're all on
that
the screen.
timing.
Yeah, that's a quick one.
That grenade though. I mean, there are chunks of EnVy all over that ramp.
It's a great transitional clip to have a fast eco ace in the frag highlight.
All right, that one, I mean, blinking, you missed it. We're back into the gun rounds. I'm taking it back here, Launders. The pacing's been screwed with because Yuri grabs an ace. Now what? Art at the bottom of mid, trying to play around these smokes. Could get double peek from both sides of these boxes. I mean, he is on full display, but then just tucks himself into connector as that one smoke disappears. JDM hungry to op him from the other side.
Been pretty decent and finding openings up on mid. JDM going combat opera style once again, straight into the flying weight of Yuri, but then go ahead and getting the kill, and also Kerrigan joining in with him to get kills. And Art is going to have just an insane amount of pressure applied to him as Molotov flies in his face, along with a couple of players who have crossed the screen, threatening the A site. And look at that, the Molotov used almost as an HE, just to do the few remaining points of health that he had.
A little Brazilian barbecue there in the windowsill.
Forget what that's called.
It's wafting.
Foco something?
I don't know.
I'm not going to mess it up. I might mess it up and swear, so I don't want to
Wow, this is a
give that a shot. 158 ADR?
Yeah.
What is this, a match or something?
Take it into consideration, of course.
Guys trying so hard.
We had the anti-eco ace. This is a nice change up to the graphics. When we started the minors, it was just the 5 blocks, you know, and then depending on your ranking, you either got 5, 4, 3, or 2, or 1. Now it's an actual bar that scales appropriately based on the highest ADR. So you can very well see Yuri in the lead. I like that. Every day at work, Launders, is something new. I mean, like, look at the map in the bottom right corner. You see it's EnVyUs' pick. That wasn't there during the CIS minor.
You guys didn't see that, but he poked his finger right into the monitor.
I touched it.
In case anybody would get triggered up because of that. I just wanted to share that with you guys.
Next time I'll lick my fingers first.
You can go ahead. Listen, it's not
it.
my property. I'm willing to protect it, but to a certain extent. Okay.
First time out called. It's going to be Furia to mull things over. They've got some calculations to make and maybe a little shift in the game plan. We do, of course, have EnVy back on the board. 4-0, 4-3, 5-3.
And that was all because they decided to take connector fast, and also because JDM is more aggressive than I'm used to seeing him be. He's getting kind of out in the front of things. He's jumping into angles. He's winning duels versus ops that are holding angles versus him. So kind of showing off just like his superior reaction speed at times and his confidence to be able to do that, to jump into somebody else's angle, which is something that you typically try to avoid. Here's Drone. Try to come out as an entry, and the only information that he'll get is he got shot in the side. He saw one in CT spawn.
That's a quick call, but a quick couple of kills to the favor of the CTs. The rest of the team trying to come in here, trying to pick up the pieces. Gonna need some superb headshots. They want any footing in. Yuri baited by Cutler towards Kerrigan, who now finds himself alone. He's gonna smoke off that bomb and just try to pick it up. He's not asking for too much. He just wants his bomb back. It's his property. But the old man next door, in the form of Furia, get off my lawn.
Ironically, the younger, new kids on the block.
Yeah.
But still.
Still with
they
promise.
play like they're old and wise.
Yeah, nice and slow. You know,
That's right.
calculated and meticulous.
Old souls. Old souls.
In the end, they'll be successful. So that's EnVy cut down, really trying to slam their head into the A-site, Mohan,
Yeah.
and left with a bloody nose.
Yeah, it's that's never fun. You know, only 9 pounds of pressure to break a nose.
Is that true?
Incredibly low amount of pressure. I might be guesstimating there, but I think that's what I read. And this time they avoid abusing connector, which if you look at Art Spot, for example, the back of triple, that's something that's totally compromised if someone shows up at connector. Yeah, Chris J could maybe hit that shot in a very important round at the end of an ace, but it's not going to happen every time, and that's why it's an amazing clip. If you want to try to compromise triple, I mean, if you spot someone at triple, you can spam them from everywhere. But if you come up connector, I mean, that's when they're really screwed because they can't rotate back through CT without being exposed to both A-Ramp and Palace. And the last round came because EnVy went fast up connector and took mid control. And honestly, Furia, as not to mention, loved mid off. They were always going there as CTs. And so those might be some duels that you want. As a T, you're looking for 50-50 fights if you can find them. 60-40s are great, but it's mostly the CTs that are trying to guarantee those.
Deep grenade lineup versus the pistols, but that was Yuri all alone. You know, there was no support. At the beginning of the round, you had a man in window, but he had dipped out, ducked over to the B bomb site, and taken catwalk in order to enable Kayasarato on his apartments push.
So I go ahead and swipe up that M4, and unfortunately, nobody has armor.
And they're about to get zinged by Kayasarato. I have a gut feeling here.
Yeah.
Tippity taps. Doesn't go back for second servings.
He's not got cat support. I guess is just worried about harming the rotations. There's a Vinny who can come in on flex, but he's got his own job. And he might be employed for good reason. Drone potentially walking directly into this. Yes, and has the idea that he might be there, but isn't totally aware of exactly where. Sorry, I'm Dr. Seuss today. Okay, so now they're coming up the A ramp. Kind of a sitter is missed there from CT spawn, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. The kills fall into place. 3 players remain alive for Furia. And they tied up. They have tied up, Connor.
This is wild. I mean, we are now 2/3 of the way through Team EnVy's T side, and with Inferno and Mirage combined at this moment, they have only gone to either B bomb site 4 times total. So I can't help but feel like, you know, I mean, we have to recognize that EnVy are a new lineup. They had a successful boot camp in the terms of Kerrigan, but it's very one-sided as to where they end up on.
Smoke down so no one can flank, so now they can all keep their attention on mid for the next 15 seconds. The nades! You know, it seems easy to see all of those nades come out and be like, all right, well, this is the perfect thing to do, but they've got to pick a time to do it when they don't think someone's going to peek. And they have enough people to make sure they can cover their bases. Art now, missing that shot, puts himself in a precarious position. Cutler will look to finish off the duel, and he does get the continuation spray into Yuri as well.
Vinny, just as good. In the very same moment, the Nifty just blindsides them out from A. I guess with the numbers counted up towards middle, Nifty feels that confidence to bust out of A.
Yep.
Does find it for free. I mean, I'm thinking personally, Vinny's got this one under wraps, locks down that mid control, but no sir, EnVy.
Oh, Kayasarato's going to hear this, and if he knows that it's not coming his way, probably wants to try to catch him. Cutler wants to make his way out of this. Just goes ahead and lets it rip.
Little pre-fire, and Kayasarato walks right into it.
Holy smokes.
His 3rd headshot on the round. I mean, he is looking good. It's Cutler at the top of the scoreboard here for EnVy, and it's fair to say that's not a place we'd seen him for a long time. So,
you know, if you have hair, it steals the nutrients from your body. So if you cut it all off, there's more for your brain.
It's like photosynthesis. You know, he just kind of soaks it up by the sun.
Right. Yeah, his head is like a solar panel.
Welcome back, Cutler. Nice to see you there.
Excellent.
I want to see some more Cutler versus Vinny duels going on in middle. I've been impressed by these two since the start of this, and then obviously Yuri. Well, he's just leaps and bounds above anybody else in the server. But this is a tough spot for them to be in. The cash not quite there for Furia. They're going to have to compromise on some bits and bobs as they come in with a bye.
It's good that they there was room for Nifty to pull off his lurk, and that he was hyper effective with it, kind of right when they needed to him. Not just a lurk where you linger out into a site late into a round when it's already over. And we saw him in that position a couple of times so far. Not necessarily his fault, but just because everybody died too quickly or whatever the case may have been. And Drone isn't even too concerned about who's in connector. He's here to lead the way into B, but Vinny is stopping them in their tracks.
Yeah, he just ate a flashbang and then some. Drone completely countered by Serato, who just wants to tuck himself away in his safety net. Always on the bench, so makes sense that the Molotov lands there first. But now what? Comes to a bit of a grinding halt because Kerrigan has an opening here and he wins the duel. He topples down Yuri, a heavy hitter, but gets completely blindsided as he reaches forward for the FAMAS. JDM to clutch this. Working on the rifle. Clears beneath the window first. Serato, where he always is. JDM could leave with bomb.
He doesn't know that this site is wide open. I mean, could very easily just turn back, but it looks like knife out. He's being very deliberate about these actions. I assume he's just going to hope there's only one target on the A site. You got to think if you're Furia at this point, you are wondering if you should maybe at least have one person go back to A. A lot of time ticked down. No one's even made a step. I guess just it's Art. He's the first person and he's closest, so he's least likely to rotate because he's got an op. And he's going to take his time. They've got 3, so I mean, they still got a really good chance for the retake. But look at this.
Oh.
Gotten all the way over here. Oh no, this could get more awkward than he needs it to.
Yeah, now they have the ability to just charge him down, never even let him off of the plant. And he's not even going to go for it. Opts to go for the frags instead, and he's never going to win that one. So
I can't feel like, I mean, I feel like that is a little bit irresponsible considering the amount of money they have. The extra money for the bomb plant would have been massive. I think he was worried about obviously
them being
dying
closer
anyway, but he just cleared the site. He crossed back as well. I think he knew he could have gotten the plant, and he couldn't have gotten off, gotten a kill, and gotten back on,
right,
which would have been the other good option if there was one.
Nor could he have gotten all 3 kills in that rapid succession.
So that could cost him. Fortunately for the team, there's only 3 rounds remaining, including this one, and they'd have to save here anyways.
It's Vinny trying to get back with his smoke, will find cover. Art finds the pick. So as that whole gunfight's unrolling, as the distraction is served out, well, he sneaks in a pick. He'll take that 5v4 happily. Just working versus the pistols here. Envy looking to get that money back under control. Bomb chucked forward like an offering. Please have mercy. But they will not. Art comes in, maybe chewing off more than he could swallow.
You went one step forward with that.
Yeah, I did.
but you saved it. That was good.
When we started with Chew, I had to save it, Launders. Here we go. All right, that was a technicality of a round. Just the Glocks. Get them out of the way. No one wants to watch that junk. We got AKs back in action.
Cheese.
Nifty just looks like a saint flying through the flames.
He is a savior in many ways. But will he be this game? Furia once again. Inch forward. Take pole position. Stringent default. Only walking in the underpass. 2 players at top mid, and they'll perform the crunch. But there is nobody from the CTs at lower mid or connector. It's just Art alone on Cat, and you know he's going to be careful for himself. But this boost could potentially pay off in dividends. Yeah, it does. The cost of Drone's life potentially could have been saved potentially. But that might be a good place to start. Good call from Furia. So many players spotted. Go ahead and push something.
They don't ever seem to shy away from these sorts of plays. You know, they want to remain active, whether that be in flanks or just repositions and bomb sites. You know, movement here from the catwalk as well. Vinny chucking the Molotov over, going all the way back into the depths of market. Serato on porch. Cutler's curious though. Not as curious as Yuri. He's already all the way through apartments from spawn down underpass. Could have doubled back had his teammate died, but that is not the case. Nifty looks to slip through market. That won't happen either.
That was a nearly situation where they could have maybe gone into jungle to follow up, and instead will adjust and hit the A site wide open, by the way. The player who flanked through A is now out at mid. And somehow misses every single bullet on Kerrigan, gets away with 2 HP. He is dodging bullets like the Matrix.
I wonder if that comes back to bite them, in fact. I mean, it's an equalizing kill off of JDM immediately. Remember, he may have 100 health, but he's also glass cannon. He just needs to serve as a distraction, pull it away from Kerrigan so that maybe he can clutch. But Kaosurado clears beneath his feet, and it's JDM with all 3 frags, given ample opportunities with the 1v1v1.
I mean, it was kind of comical to see the UMP spray miss so badly.
Yeah.
But it seemed to have a pretty big impact.
Right. It's comical and then sad. Tragic.
Henry says if you don't laugh, you'll cry.
I bet you he cries anyways.
He might, yeah. I mean, I would just lie to my team. I mean, come on. I'd be like, guys, he's modem tapping. There's no chance. You see him glitching across, it's crazy.
Here we go, all tied up at 7. Now it is interesting to note, right? We are only here at the final round of the first half, and Team Envy, with the pause they've currently called, only have 1 left in their back pocket. So I mean, this is close as can be. And if the second half starts off with a lot of momentum for Furia, they're not going to be able to put brakes on the train. You know, it's going straight to choo-choo town. That's a throwback and a half.
Yeah. No, you're saving it. You're catching it. Oh, man. And catch me off guard. Well played. Here it is. Envy in the last round. Molotov out to the top of connector. 3 players walking Palace. It's brand new stuff. And who doesn't like brand new stuff?
All right. Open walkout. They're thinking, where are they off to? And it's here towards ramp, exactly where they cut down Kerrigan. Yuri.
Ooh.
Oh, man, still standing at the end of that? I mean, sure, there's a bomb plant for Cutler, but he comes off bomb, looks around, and there's nothing but death and decay. So, could very well be the 8th round swept away by Furia. He's going to go down with his bomb. He's going to fight for the cause, sink with the ship, and maybe clutch this back. An unthinkable attempt it is, but of course, he is outnumbered, outgunned, and then dealt with. Folks, it's Furia with a 1-round edge. 4 straight from Envy to start this all off, and then no more consecutive rounds after that. These one-and-dones over and over. A little bit of patterns here towards the end of it. Just, of course, again, to give that 1-round edge to the Brazilian side. We'll be back after a short break for the second half. Welcome back, Goblins and Ghouls. It's Furia Esports versus Team EnVy. We've swapped sides, but we are still here, of course, at the IEM Katowice North American Minor Day 1. The last best of 3 under wraps. We are crowning a playoffs team here at the end of the series. Is it going to be Furia, the first of 4 potential Brazilians? Who knows?
Who knows? They've got their foot in the door, though, with a small lead. Ooh, Nifty gets one back, however. There's a lot of Brazilians here at mid, and a smoke down on Cat to stop Kerrigan from having any vision, but even without it, he's able to do damage with the AG. Oh my goodness, not the jumping Glock! You don't want to drop a pistol round like that. And I'm not blaming Cutler, I mean, what can you do? One crazy shot. Man advantage, bomb down, time ticking. CT's not in the optimal retake spots. No one on a big flank. A player at mid from the T's. The odds are stacked against EnVy.
In the post-game interview that we got from Furia, they mentioned that, it was the eventual bomb site stacks and the aggressive plays that United threw that started to, slow them down, started to make them a little more reserved in their gameplay. We'll have to see if Team EnVy can throw things like that into the works once we get to the gun rounds. Drone just tapping away. He's got a kid on top of it all, but he doesn't have the time.
Wait a second. Okay. He almost actually got the... I don't even know. That's kind of nuts. But, I mean, he had to go for it, I guess. There was there's nothing else. Why not?
You got to be committed to the
kid was
cause.
right there. That's right.
If you don't believe, then you've already lost.
Right. If you don't believe in yourself, who's going to? So, almost got it with the follow through. Second shot was nice. And look at that. Young Keanu Reeves.
Glock spam to get it done. Complete vanilla save round. Team EnVy have nothing spent up in this.
A lot of comical rounds so far, but pretty high stakes. Just looking at this now, Furia are pretty close to, are well on their way, not pretty close, but well on their way to ending this map. And if they get this 2-0, you think about Inferno and you're like, what? EnVy were up like 8-1.
Yeah.
It was, and they were like smashing them. So
the biggest advantage as well is getting that playoff spots immediately on day 1 is the fact that, first of all, you have tomorrow completely off, and you get the chance to kind of, smooth through any issues you may have had on your opening matches. You could come back even better. I mean, there's very clearly a certain level of preparation here behind Furia. This isn't one of those structureless, just absolute aim-hungry type teams.
for sure.
These guys look good.
No, they have a nerd IGLing. He goes hard.
Imagine tomorrow with all the VODs you could watch, sit back to watch your opponents struggle. Meanwhile, you've got that safety net of at least the playoffs.
Yeah, scary prospect. Could potentially set you up to be the stronger team in playoffs than your opponents who are just fighting for survival at all times. And in some fashion, the rich get richer, as they say. There is now Yuri, who's gone down. And Furia seemed deliberate about getting out of the site. Drone gets flashed in his spot, and Kerrigan goes for the wild spray. They get double entry by the MAC-10. And this 5v4 suddenly matters not. There's a site taken, compromised, retakes denied. The smokes and nades are just too daunting. EnVy make their way out, and will seek refuge in the A site.
That's crazy. I mean, you've got a MAC-10 blowing open the B bomb site. Look at the weapons that are still in the equation here. OP, M4, AUG on the side of EnVy, and it's that MAC-10 that literally wins the round.
It's actually the GOAT gun. It's so good sometimes, but like what you're trying to say is like you can't just lose to a MAC-10 like that, right?
Took a well-placed flashbang to counter Drone. I mean, he was just offset for a moment.
And that's all it takes, it's a high flash. It's an after image flash, so it's definitely not the most effective option. But sometimes if the after image flash is perfectly timed with the execute, as we've seen from Furia executes, and a player comes flying out the window and you just caught a glimpse of him as he caught out, but by the time he hits the ground, you're shaken up because you don't know what else is coming your way. The spray is a little bit more difficult, and then Kerrigan whiffs as well, and it's a lost round because it's too hard of a site to come back into once it's been compromised. Furia move nicely along after cleaning up that round easily and getting a lot more money for it than they probably should have.
Start trucking forward right down to the depths of mid. Got a little exchange of grenades here towards the apartments. Drone could spam, but opts not to. It's JDM to open up with the op kill. Headshot versus Vinny. That's over towards ramp. He's been culled.
We've seen good and bad from Furia on the T side. I'm not totally sold or convinced that this map will be over, but EnVyUs side is a completely unknown quantity.
Right.
How can you even compare what might happen to what they've done if they haven't done anything on record?
I can't help but feel like Art was either fully blind when he got that kill or was blinded just moments after. Regardless, he won't get anything else. The moment he reveals himself and pins into the corner, he's stuck. Cutler up in Palace. KS Arado swings out. There's more damage versus Cutler than the other way around, but it is the Galil that will fall in the fight. Replaced by Abel. A slight heart attack, but a follow-up frag. Now JDM's waiting for the exit on Palace. He hits that shot. Bomb alone to cross right through the sights of Kerrigan, winning the AK duel, pushing this into the 15-second mark and hoping that JDM peaks this. He wants his duel. He wants his head. And he'd love to get a bomb plant.
Oh my god, is Furia going to save? Oh no, he's just going to go ahead and stick this. JDM not holding CT position, really? I mean, he's rotating in to try to get a new kill. I guess the player at A ramp is good enough, but yeah, his rotate works as well. I'm just surprised because with the flank on CT, they had every position compromised. And without the flank on CT, they didn't have default compromised, which is called default because it's the most popular plant, whether it's the best or not. You would think he would just try to hold that off, but I guess no, it works out that because the op was last seen default, or last seen CT, you know, maybe if the plant goes off, he's always going to be kind of concerned about it and then fall into another angle, which was the case. So, some method to the madness, but here it is, Furia. What do they grab? A couple AKs, a SIG. EnVy, even though they won, still don't have amazing weapons. Kerrigan only has an MP9. He's going to be the, I don't know if he's dedicated. I think Drone is dedicated B, and then Kerrigan's going to be rotator. But a pretty solid round from JDM overall.
It's right before, right after.
Right after, right before.
That's the one where you feel your stomach in your throat. Cutler had a chance, but it was taken away. Big stack up into the Palace here for the counter-terrorists. 2 guys go in, and 1 comes back out.
Not so easy to take the A site when you lose Palace control. This is a great stack from EnVy. Good call out, but some interesting smokes.
Developing the bomb site really opens up an avenue for the connector push. They'll have the other side of it. So if the CTs were here in position, that'd be one thing. But it's only a matter of time before Furia realize they're all in the bomb site, right upon it. 3 bodies, shoulder to shoulder. That bomb is theirs.
Man, they're like a school of fish right now, just so close together, swarming the bomb. I mean, there's not a chance that Furia are gonna be able to dismantle this pack of piranhas. I don't know what incentivized the stack. Maybe it was just because we saw A recently, but it ends up being a solid call. And I say that only because B was compromised so easily. I feel like, you know, that's something that can encourage a team to definitely play 2B for the early round or until they see the next rush. But either way, it ends up being a solid decision. Interesting to see Furia go for that. How many smokes was that? One default Palace, 2 for the cross.
Yeah, 3 or 4.
So they saw 3. I wanted to say 4, but they sent 2 to mid. And so I was wondering if someone threw 1 earlier and then went around to mid. But it feels like, okay, if EnVy see that, it looks like a full execute with 5, and they're probably not going to anticipate players coming around the connector. Definitely draws the attention of everybody at to A ramp and Palace. But because the people coming out of coming out of A ramp died so early, the the split didn't work out so well. Looked like an interesting strat, though. Would have liked to see it play out.
Curious to see if we get that again when there's just not a stack inside of it. You know, I really do feel as though that execution's meant to keep the CTs on jungle side and then open them up to the mid push. But obviously, you come flying up from middle, see nothing, and reveal a whole bunch of bodies.
For sure.
Up inside those smokes. Now what? Boost towards window. That's the play. Nifty does reside inside. Gonna dip out just as Art begins his expedition. Down he drops, head popped. Kerrigan now looking for the bottom of the totem pole, gets into the spray duel, deals damage both ways though, and he's gonna walk away with more. 52 health for him. Furia set their sights on B.
Oh, we've been very accustomed at this point to how grindy they can be with their T rounds and how annoying that can be to try to deal with it. It just comes down to how good are Furia on Mirage versus Inferno. There's a bunch of Ts shacked up, waiting to execute on either side of this scope. JDM should have an easy first one lined up. It just depends if the trade will be really quick or not. The bait setup could be good, however, the flick as well is magnificent and drone from behind.
Right there for a second. JDM watching doorway, but there's a player to hop out from the window as well, so he gets killed by the verticality. Casarado doubling down through Kerrigan too. Leaves just Cutler. Re-emergence in form has been impressive so far, but what more does he have for us now? Peeked out, Casarado. He doesn't want the bomb plant launchers. He wants frags and frags aplenty. 4 kills he picks up in that round, 21 and 7. I mean, kill-wise, up there with the rest of his team, but Buddy's got half the deaths of everybody else.
Buddy's going in right now. Yeah, an absolute monster. And even there, I mean, just the level of carefulness with making sure there's no one empty pillar or just anyone who's going to be near the outside of the site. And yeah, I mean, catches Cutler off guard. The plant could have gone down. Cutler is more concerned about where his friend was, and that was enough to draw the attention away from himself to have the advantage moving into the fight. Really well done. And the bait on JDM.
Yeah.
Oh man.
He got razzle-dazzled.
Yeah. They push the guessing game to its limits. Someone drops out a window. Is he going to flank around? Is he going to flank at all? Is he going to peek lower? Turns out he does. Drone goes down. Melted in the B side. Must have taken some damage along with that Molotov.
Yeah, the shots caught him as he was trying to fall off. He didn't want to die, but he did.
Looked like the stack from last round was a good idea. And it almost paid off, but the mid-round trades. It's like there's 2 chances for Furia to come alive. This could be a giant push into Palace. Another situation where they're kind of light on the amount of Palace players, and the Palace player doesn't get a kill. 2 are spotted. They can molly this out if they come up A ramp, but that's going to be understood as well. Oh, Yuri actually doubles back to pick up the pieces.
Yep. Now Nifty may catch him off guard.
Oh, are you serious? Nifty could have peeked left there early and got it while he had his knife out, and he still, oh my goodness, that is so upsetting for him.
Yuri just wrecking through them, calling, next. Hungry for another. JDM back towards Ticket. May not anticipate this close positioning from Art, but that's an opera of his own. Here it is, Cutler getting his attention pulled in so many directions that I'm sure he feels overwhelmed here. Looks to create a little bit more space, if not temporary. Will blast Art's brains out, and then JDM takes the top side of the Ticket booth, spotting the shoulder on Palace, knowing that Casarado is over towards Connector, and instead he'll smoke off that bomb.
Oh, that could be so good. No peek, however.
Goes for the underhand flash, doesn't have a follow-up, spray connects, and Casarado has got him. That is Furia with 13.
And a save now for Envy. A very critical rifle round right there, one from Furia. Man, that was a good mid-round adjustment from Envy to go into the double push Palace. And again, when Furia execute on A, they're always light on Palace. So that could have been just like an easy frag that never gets answered. And then the CTs have this flank, but Yuri comes to pick it up and just barrel stuffs Nifty.
Cutler had a chance there. Casarado took him back. And the continual spray down to, whoa, fast round, let's go. Action-packed hot pocket towards the top of mid. Abel, gonna leave this. You know, you don't want to sustain unnecessary losses. You've got poor Cutler pinned in behind boxes. There's nothing he can do. Double molly, fare thee well.
It's a cookout.
Oh my, he's got some fight in him. You know, those old dogs, they don't go down without a bite. Nifty, more bark. USP didn't leave him with much to work with. And all the while, Kerrigan has snuck his way to the top of middle. Now, where are those guns? Right there. He's got that AK-47. Technically nothing to lose.
I mean, I guess they could buy next round, but they still got to win more rounds. He's gonna give it his best shot. Doesn't have any armor to work with. Okay, maybe just thought before the bomb went down could try to scoop some of them up for free, but it looks like they don't have anything to hand over at no cost. It's Kerrigan to take this AK, a save this time. Furia get another bomb plant down. How many have we seen so far? And not that many this half. It's been a lot of all-kill rounds for Furia. And their economy is not actually fantastic.
No, so I mean, they have been on the brink of things.
Yeah.
I feel like it's for that reason they were so hesitant at that gunfight in the top of middle. You know, 2 more pistol kills could have really made a difference here. So in order to finish this one off with convincing fashion, they will want everything they can keep their paws on, which right now is a substantial 5-round lead. Furia, 1 timeout left over after this, and they may not even need it if they can use this gun round to just blow through Envy. But JDM has that op, and we've seen him hit some shots tonight.
Definitely so. Furia want to hammer this home, calling a pause after winning a round to go over what they want to do on this T side. It's not going to be a matter of what they want to buy. They have that sorted out, I'm sure. Final 2 buys come in. Freeze time also comes in. And Envy have JDM on the glass cannon op. Everybody bought down to 0. And this is last chance saloon for Envy. Not literally, but for the most part. It's going to be force-ups. A force-up after this if they lose. And that's not going to be very pretty at all. So we'll have at it. Feels like this music is setting us up for a very exciting moment, but eventually we've got to let that moment happen. And oh my goodness, that is not a great way to start for Furia. Team damage dealt.
Yeah, really fighting for those frags. Kerrigan gonna tap away at Yuri. A tagged up Abel. And damn, he gets a fire frag versus Vinny. Just walked out through apartments and dies. So Kerrigan's looking good at the moment, locking down the B site solo, calling for reinforcements in the form of Nifty. Fast flank from Cutler too. There are layers here for the CT's favor.
Oh my god, no
Nice
way I
angle.
got that.
He's also been dropped that bomb as well. It's landed right at his feet. We do have Abel down there behind the arches, but it's Kayasarado who has so much more health than his teammates that's looking to kind of make something happen. Understands there's one on the fast flank. They need to figure out where the last is at, and that's JDM on market. Cutler can't do much from this position as long as Kayasarado keeps him honest, so even with low HP, Abel and Art should activate. They'll plant that bomb, try to elicit reactions out of Envy. Kayasarado's still waiting, ready, and honed in on exactly what he wants, but Art helps him out. Saves him the same way he did, and a double as well. 2 headshots to seal the deal. That's Furia Esports on 15-6 map and match points. We are about to crown our second playoff team here.
And we have done nothing but highlight the team play from this roster because they've just been so like meticulous on the T side, especially, but the individuals have lit it up. I mean, Art, Kayasarado in particular has impressed me the most, I want to say. What crazy kills came out of Art that round. Those are all ridiculous. Especially that one where he drops off into this just this very tiny angle off the side of the van to get the frag in the market window on a player who's just fully waiting for him. Just disgusting. Drone, you know, he's only got a scout here. Everybody is quite low. This could be it. This could be Furia moving on to to playoffs from winners finals on day one.
Such little utility as well here, Launders. Look what EnVyUs left with. Molotov 3 flashbangs. What are you going to do when this wall of smokes comes cascading over? I would actually really like to see Furia go back to that execute we saw them use. You know, just because I'm interested to see how it all unfolds, whether we were right in saying mid is where they look for the gunfights and that the smokes are more of a distraction.
Yeah.
But we might not even get it. There is very little mid presence, just Yuri on that sole AK. Cutler's been taken down from Palace. So it is JDM very much fixated on the exit. All the while, Furia have been given space to exit from ramp. They're pushing forward. JDM's going to have 2 targets. Flicks up as Kerrigan cuts down 1, but it's KS Serrato, who else, to add the numbers to the kill feed. Furia Esports on the brink of 16. Dink off Kerrigan, fighting to keep his team out of that loser's bracket, but down they go to the depths as Furia smothers them here on Mirage, picks up that 30-round win on Inferno, and we had ourselves one hell of a series here from the Brazilian core.
I was with Natu. I thought it would go to 3 maps. I thought Inferno was so close, but EnVy were going to kick themselves, pull it back together. But first of all, hats off to Serrato. 25-7.
Right.
Everybody else had 12 to 15 or more deaths on his team. And he's just outstanding KD rate.
Like you said, we praised that team play, and I think that's the reason they managed to just barely get through Inferno with their win. But once we swap over to Mirage, not only is that team play still a huge aspect, it's the individual prowess that really kind of blows us away. So we'll throw this one back for one last time to the alpha of the green room, to the captain of this ship. It's the Alabama Slamma, Tres Stunna Sorrentis.
Wow, I don't think anyone said anything that nice about me in quite some time. Thank you very much, guys. Yes, that does put an end to what was EnVyUs' chance at excelling through this bracket in a rather steadfast fashion. Also, I'd like to take this time to shout out Neymar da Silva Santos Jr. If you are watching, hello from all of us here. Now that we've gotten all out of the way, Furia has done it, Chad. What do you got?
I'm just curious if Scrawny's given you his room number, if you're giving him yours.
Who knows?
I don't know. I guess we'll find out later. But I am very impressed. I am very happy to see that approach because it was unique in the sense of they had strategy, they were well structured, they had fantastic individual plays, and it's blended together in a unique style that I haven't really ever witnessed before.
Very high pace, very fast, and that's exactly how we're going to keep it going around here. We do have an interview on our hands. It's going to be Vinny, and he's down on the sidelines with Mr. Banks. Let's see what they got.
Yes, let's see what they've got after a very impressive win there. And I'm going to start with Inferno being the first map. You guys almost looked like there was no way to win out, but you bounced back, you fought tough against them. What did it take from you guys, and what changed? Because you just got so many rounds in a row just after each other.
I think the first we started playing too much aggressive, and on this 7-0, I think I can remember now, we just pause and guys, let's just play our game, play slow, do some strats, and we come do a close halfer, so it was 8-7. And on the CT side, we work on our communications, and I think what make us won the game was the rotations. Us play 4-4-A, 3B was just enough.
Now, when we were watching you guys on Mirage, we were kind of praising you quite highly on just the teamwork and stuff we were seeing. But there was at times where some of you guys were just open in mid, playing super like, it wasn't aggressive, but it was just out in the open. You're thinking, surely this isn't going to work. You guys were still getting it done just off the individual skills that were coming into it, but there is mixed in team play with it. Is this just the game style that we're going to see from Fury here? Because it was so unpredictable. Yeah,
it's what we practice a lot, so... And in the early game, some bad communications happened because it's Yuri dying on middle with no one supporting him, stuff like that. We are too emotional, but we pause, breathe to calm us down, and we managed to win the game.
Now you've made it to the playoffs. This is a big move for you guys. You're one step closer to making it to the major. Yeah. Anything you want to say to all the fans and the Brazilian fans, especially back home?
Can I speak português? Obrigado a todo mundo que torce pela gente. A gente vem treinando bastante, se sacrificando, e sem o apoio de vocês não teria como isso ter acontecido. Obrigado.
Thank you very much, man, and congratulations on an epic win there. Furia get it done, and they get it done in style against EnVy. They'll be going off to the playoffs, so it's back to you, Stun, on the desk one last time.
That's right, obrigados. All of them are in order here. Thank you very much, Furia. You guys did wrap it up in 2, and we're going to try to wrap it up here in a sped-fast fashion, and that means Natu. What do you got for me?
Obrigados, no avocados, though.
Yeah, well,
Let's start with that. But
little different.
I don't think it's really surprising at this point that we're getting new great teams and players from Brazil. I mean, it's just become a thing. I mean, like Chad put it, well drilled, and they seem like they have a lot of dynamic to their play, and then having that very, very high peak and individual level where they can just come out and clutch in the most unlikely situations. So. Very, very happy to see them go to the playoffs. On the other hand, EnVy, a lot to be desired still.
I'd put these guys on par with like Valiance in terms of how they've impressed, right? Valiance did it just through individual plays and kind of running into a brick wall and doing that time and time again. These guys exactly were very dynamic in their approach, impressed me, and in the America Minor alone, we know that NRG are the favorite, but these guys here in my books, if they can continue this level of play, they'll be locking in that second spot, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, they're playing with such a pace right now. They're playing with such a conviction that is very scary to watch, and I think is very unorthodox. A lot of teams are going to get caught off guard with some of the stuff that we were seeing both in early parts of the game and even in later parts of the second map. I mean, it was just a crazy conundrum all around, sort of like the brackets as they begin to unfold here at the America's Minors. Roll that A bracket, and let's see what we've got going on here. Look at it, Chad. My goodness, look at it.
So NRG, as we expected, went through with relative ease. Bravado didn't put up too much of a fight, and talking with Harry and Hugo after the game, they were saying there's a lot of smoke pushes coming in from the Bravado guys, which normally doesn't go with their standard style of play. In the lower bracket tomorrow, we'll be getting Imperial versus INTZ in a best of 3. So let's see which Brazilian team can come out on top and get a match against the South Africans.
That's right. The Avocados are waiting in the lower bracket already. They're not out of the fight just yet, but it will be determined who goes on to play against them. Switching over to the B bracket, which is exactly what we have here. Natu would love to walk all of you at home through this bracket, round by round, match by match.
Exactly, but we'll just go match by match. I mean, Furia, United, I mean, first of all, we thought more from United, but Furia coming out hot. First half, really, really good. A little bit of a sloppy ending, but they managed to close it out. And then obviously we see them now 2-0ing EnVy in a game where, well, we thought it would be a little bit closer. So what that ends us up with for tomorrow is Team 1 versus United for that lower bracket game to see who goes out first in this group.
Yeah, that's right. Furia and NRG are your first 2 playoff qualified teams, and for NRG expected, Furia not so much. And yes, we will have to continue that conversation about EnVyUs when the time does come, because I believe that there's much still to be said about this new lineup. I think that hopefully they can bounce back and figure it out for all of NA. And for all of you in NA, that does it for us. We will be cutting it off here. That is the end of the show for this evening. We will be back tomorrow bright and early. We got a full day of matches. You don't want to miss any of them. All best of 3s, and they're all coming your way hot, fast, thick, and pumped. My name is Trey Saranthus, and that'll be signing off for tonight. See you later.